Hello, my name is John Patterson again. I'm going to tell you my experience on home caregiving. I took care of my wife of 36 years from 2005 to 2013 September. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was very humbling. It was very upsetting. It would get you very off the normal path. It was so bad. First 2 years, it wasn't that bad. It was slow. It was slow generating, slowly coming down. Then there was one day that I took my wife to the hospital. We sat and we sat and we sat until probably 8 to 9 hours. Then we got in the back. They put her on a gurney and we sat and we sat and we sat. Then a doctor came with a cup in his hand and a small pill cup in his hand. And he said to us, "There's absolutely nothing I can do for you. Here's a Tylenol, here's something to drink. Please take this now and go home." Well, I was about 45 minutes from home, and I'm thinking, wow, I can't even take my wife to a hospital now? Now, that's the wrong thinking. You can't take your loved one with an illness they don't know how to cure. It's beyond curability. You can still take them back for pneumonia or to the dentist or a bad tooth or anything like that. But you just can't take them back to the hospital with a illness like multiple sclerosis. When you get to that point, I had to answer the one main question, and that was, it's time to start home caregiving. So I started. This next 5 years, it felt like jumping off a cliff. She first could not swallow. The next thing, she couldn't chew at all. The next thing she couldn't do was sit in a chair. The next thing she couldn't do was to move her hands. And the last 2 years, she was completely bedridden. That time, I made myself a business within the home to take care of her and hired some women to take care of her and individually, and I paid them. I paid them Social Security and Medicare, all that stuff. I paid in that. I paid all things like unemployment insurance, things like what would happen if they got hurt in the home. I got that kind of insurance, and just it was tough. It was rough. It was tough. Then at the last 2 years of it, I could find no one to sit with her from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. No one would. She just became too much work. So I went part time in my job and I brought home a whopping $546 a month. $546. I thought, wow, this ain't going to work. And I had to take care of my sweetheart. I had to take care of the one I loved. She was totally bedridden. She could not speak. She could not do anything but lay in this bed. So later I'll tell you how I did this, but I made the insurance buy her a professional hospital bed, $100,000 bed. And in fact, I sleep in it now, and that's a wonderful bed. But that bed really made the difference when she became bedridden. Insurance will give you a bed, but it's like 1950 style. At the foot of the bed, you crank it up to bring it up to the head of the bed. And it didn't go 90%, 45-90. So without the 45-90 degrees, because of my wife's condition, she had to have a professional bed. So I brought that in. But when we got into hospice, I didn't know, but hospice insurance pays custodial care. Insurance does not pay any custodial care normally, but in hospice they do. So I got much relief financially because in hospice they do take care of them the right way. They bring in so many other people, like a doctor, a physician assistant, drug people, a chaplain, RNs, bath people that will give them bath. Just so many things that come in, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful what hospice does. So don't delay. I delayed them about a year and a half, and I shouldn't have done it. Don't delay hospice. They are a real blessed work. But when this was all over, at her last breath, I was praying in her ear for God to take her when she took the last breath. At that moment, time stopped for me. I was used to get up and go for 7 years plus on caregiving. And when she passed away, I was stopped. Nothing was going on. Time drug. An hour seemed like a morning. 2 hours seemed like 2 days. So, and I was left with complete heart disease. I would say, one sick puppy, you might say. But while sleeping in that bed, either God healed me or the bed did it. One of the two. but it was, I don't have heart disease. The most I have is I need 2 stents. So that's not bad. But I want to tell you that in home caregiving, there's a lot of depression. You'll get so depressed because your loved one's dying. Your prayers, you will think, are no longer given by God to you. But that's wrong too. The one prayer you want answered is, please God heal my loved one. And God says no. He says no, and your loved one slowly, but fastly passes away. It's a very hard time. It's hard on your emotions. It's hard on your back, physically, mentally. It's hard on you spiritually. Man, I screamed in my living room, where is God? I didn't see him. Now, years after, and it's been 10 years now since she passed away. Years now, I can see God was with me each day. But while in the battle, I could not see it. It'll waste you away. It's challenging like you wouldn't believe. But if you will keep on my page and let me teach you things on what to do, you will have a much easier time. So I hope you are well today. If you're in home caregiving, I hope I can equip you in the coming months to have a much more blessed time with your loved one as you care for them. God bless you and take care